Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and Happy New Year. It's once again time for the WADcast episode number 72. I am one of your hosts, Josh, and joined with me, as always, from the guy that's so far behind in the time zones, it's still 2021. Brandon, what's up?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
You know, it's been a day and a
Yeah,
half.
it has been a day and a half, and you know what? It's also been a long time since we've actually been on this show to say hi to everybody. So, everybody, happy 2022. I hope you all had a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all the holidays that come with that part of the year. So welcome back to the Wadcast. It's great to have all of you guys back, and yeah, so that's all I
Well,
got.
first, before we get into it, I wanna thank everybody that joined me for the annual holiday special. There were quite a few people that popped up on the Spreaker feed to listen to some music and listen to me, read stories and track Santa. It was fun. It was a lot of fun having all those interactions. Unfortunately, if you missed it, you missed it. There there is no copy of it anywhere except for I guess on my computer. But does it really exist if I don't share it?
Not really. No. Nope.
Well, I'm sure. I'm sure certain plans made by certain people being followed by the FBI would disagree.
Oh, you witty bastard. Yeah, probably. So, you and I are caught up. Everyone else may not be caught up. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, Josh and I do speak when we are not on the show. Um, so we both know what we have been up to.
Mhm.
You guys do not. So, Josh, should I fill them in on the updates with the Wadcasts and what we're doing, or would you like to fill them in?
No, by all means, go ahead while I mute my microphone and go say hello to a dog.
Yep. Yeah. So everybody that's tuning in right now, or will be listening to this after it goes onto our website tonight, I just want to inform you that we currently are now an official business with the Wadcast. We are starting an LLC with our show. And the goal is eventually to be syndicated, but also to have some film properties based in Jacksonville under the show. So that being the case, we are focusing on a few other additives as well. We also did some updates to our website, thewadcast.com, where we now have a series of articles and reviews written about the news and opinion pieces in what is hot and not in the industry, top tens, things of that nature. Soon, videos will be added to the site as well. So we're excited. We're trying to grow this platform. We're trying to make our own brand, so to speak, with this podcast. Excuse me. And we're excited to have all of you to be part of it. If you guys want, please by all means go check out the website. If there's any I guess if there's any recommendations you might have, things that you want to hear covered, things that you want to see covered, articles that you're interested in, news that you're interested in knowing about, by all means, you can always just get back to us. Comment on our videos, send us a message. You can actually message us through the website. Again, just go to thewadcast.com. It is a live website right now. All the updates, everything else, announcements, shows that we have this week and next week, as well as past episodes. If you've missed any, they will be posted on a weekly basis. So there's that. I hope to God that you guys really go check it out. And that's really all I've got. Josh, are you done saying hi to this dog yet? Or
Still breathing. Hold on.
no? I'm sure that all of you have heard the dog in the background. Apparently, there's a quiet dog that never speaks. Mickey's in. I don't know if I said that right. Hello. You said hello. I'm saying hello back. Hope you're having a great night. Welcome to the show. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much all I've got. I wasn't expecting on covering this much of it, but now that I covered that, I guess I will get into what tonight's show is going to be about. We have some updates. Tonight we are going to be talking about the best and worst that 2021, excuse me, 2021 had to offer in terms of movies, whether they're motion pictures released in cinemas only, or if they're like released direct to streaming, as well as TV shows. The best things that came out on television, even new seasons, stuff like that. So that's what we're going to be covering tonight. At the end of all this, Josh is actually going to be taking a look at the Golden Globes, and he's going to be taking his own picks for what should qualify for the Golden Globes ceremony. Wow, I am so tongue tied. Josh, is everything okay over there, or do I just keep going?
Everything is perfectly above board and legal going on over here, so no need to make any reports. All animals have quieted down of their own accord.
Oh, there it is.
That was confirmation of life.
You know what?
Reconfirmation
Listen.
of life.
Okay, well, it's going to be a rare time where, for once, my end of the line is without noise in the background, adding to the ambiance of the show, and instead it's going to be on Josh's side. So if you guys hear any dog barking, it's not me. It's not my dog, Indiana Jones. It is a random dog in the neighborhood in Jacksonville, Florida. So, but again, we have our first commentator. We have Make Zin or Makey Zin. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry. But again, welcome to the show. So Josh, what do you got? Do you want to get the night started off? Since I just spent the last 7 minutes trying to cover it for both of us.
Well, I think we should start off with a little bit of TV. And, there was an interesting year in television,
It really
especially
was.
when it came to TV shows that were produced during 2021, COVID protocols taking full effect in how productions were done. And from a writer's perspective, do you talk about COVID?
Yep.
Some shows decided, yeah, we're going to tie fully into what's going on into our world. Others decided to just kind of ignore it, saying, yeah, we've been through enough in real life. We don't need it to cross over into what's going on screen.
Yeah.
Some of these shows did better than others at existing during 2021. And I think starting off with one of the best shows that I watched was Only Murders in the Building.
Okay.
Steve Martin, Martin Short, and what's her face?
I don't know.
I'm showing my age here. Selena Gomez, that's it. Sorry, when she started rising up, I was a little bit beyond the usual age range of a Selena Gomez fan. But Only Murders in the Building, a show about a true crime podcast based on a murder that happened in these characters' building. What had happened was these people lived in a building, New York, and they all these three characters find out that they're all fans of a very specific true crime podcast, and then a murder happens in their building. So they're like, "Wait, we could do a podcast about this and try to figure out what happened." There are, understandably enough, ties to the victim for at least one of the characters that's a little more personal for them. But as the season goes on and things get kind of untangled, it proves to be a worthwhile and absolutely entertaining watch. I don't know why anybody would expect anything less from Steve Martin and Martin Short, but I will say I was absolutely surprised to be as much of a fan of Selena Gomez as I was in this, since this is my first, I'd say, real exposure to her as an actress.
Yeah. I mean, it's like she was in another movie, The Dead Don't Die. And that was my first exposure to her as an actress. I haven't seen this movie yet, but from what I saw in the brief time I saw her in The Dead Don't Die with Bill Murray and Adam Driver, she was okay. She didn't have a prominent role in it, but she was okay.
Did you happen to catch Only Murders in the Building?
No.
It's on Hulu. Very much worth checking out, especially for guys our age. As God, I hate to say that phrase.
Men.
grow. Excuse me. Growing up with the two Martins, as it were, they've always been there for us. Steve Martin, more so, slightly before our time as far as his peak, but definitely even in the 80s hit a pretty good stride with his movies.
Oh yeah. But I mean, Steve Martin is actually a damn good dramatic actor on top of all that.
Oh yeah.
If you've, ladies and gentlemen, all of our listeners, if you've only ever thought of Steve Martin as a comedian, I implore you to go see movies such as, well, I guess My Blue Heaven was still a comedy.
Very much so.
But
what's the difference between a pregnant woman and a light bulb?
Yeah, exactly. But it's like the thing is Leap of Faith. If you guys want to see an absolutely amazing film that I don't even remotely consider a comedy starring Steve Martin, Leap of Faith. If you're unfamiliar with it, it's okay. He plays a televangelist, a traveling televangelist. And let's face it, I don't care if you're Christian or not, televangelists are, completely full of shit on most occasions.
Watch the Eyes of Tammy Faye.
Huh?
I said, watch the Eyes of Tammy Faye.
Absolutely. But he's such a brilliant actor. Him and Martin Short both. Martin Short's an amazing actor on top of that. Like, I mean, he was probably one of my favorite parts of Mars Attacks, to be honest with you. But he's such an underrated actor. He's so very rarely a leading man in a film. He's usually just like the comedy sidekick. But he's got so much brilliance about him.
I remember Clifford.
Yeah, Clifford was a damn good movie. But I mean, these guys, they're older now. Like these guys are older. They are pretty much in the AARP group. But I'll tell you right now, like they're still amazing. They still have it.
Steve Martin's been entertaining for
decades, since the 1970s.
Yeah, going 50 years.
Yeah, the early 1970s. Yeah, I think
early SNL.
Yeah, and I think The Jerk was actually his feature film debut. If I'm not mistaken, I believe The Jerk was his very first feature film. But
could be, but it's brilliant.
Oh no, absolutely no. The Jerk is amazing. I mean, the whole walking out of the walking out of the mansion. Like, I don't need you. I just need my chair, and that's all I need. Oh no, I just need this pen, and that's all I need. And this chair, and this pen, and that's all I need. And he just keeps picking things up as he's walking out.
These cans. Somebody hates these cans.
Stay away from the cans. And let's not forget that one line with his love interest. I love this little interaction. I was listening to a song last night that reminded me of The Way We Were. Oh yeah, what was it called? The Way We Were. Oh God. that's classic comedy at its finest.
The Jerk, one of the best comedies of any year.
Oh my god, it doesn't get old. But so was that your what? No, like so that's one of your top films, right?
No, that's one of my top TV shows. Yeah.
No, top TV shows. I mean, yeah, I said films. All right, well, I guess I will say this. I was just talking to our former guest Justin Ward the other night. Um, and Justin, if you're listening, it was a great conversation. It's always nice catching up with you, buddy. Um, but he mentioned this one show as being a guilty pleasure of his because his
Teletubbies.
family, his Teletubbies. You know what? Yeah. Now I'm just picturing Justin like at home with popcorn, maybe having a beer or something like that, and the whole film is avoiding him because he is binge watching Teletubbies. No, it's this TV show. It's an Apple Plus only TV show. Um, Apple Plus is that Apple Plus, right? Is that what it is, or Apple TV? Apple TV rather.
Apple TV.
I'm thinking like Apple TV and Paramount Plus. I'm like making an amalgamation of the two shows here, the two streaming channels. So, but we were talking about this TV show. His family doesn't like it, so he's like, "Oh, it's a guilty pleasure of mine." He tells me, "I'm like, that's not a guilty pleasure. It's an amazing show." And although the show came out in 2020, the second season came out this past year, and the final season is coming out this year. So I have to even I was introduced to it in 2021, so for me, this makes like one of my top 5 lists is Ted Lasso. I think the show is absolutely brilliant. It touches on so many things with this one character who is you first meet him and you think like this guy's flawless. Like he's got his own situations that he's in but he handles it so well, all the pressure and everything else. He is a fish out of water. He's a football coach, a college football coach.
And he
That
appreciates
is,
you.
yeah, he's a college football coach who is relocated to a soccer team in England, and everyone is just giving him hell. Like they are just absolutely giving this poor guy hell.
Wanker!
No one believes in him. Everyone just like he's being set up by the owner of the soccer team. I'm sorry, the founder's wife, who pretty much got the team in the divorce. He's being set up by her to be a failure out of revenge to get back at her husband or her ex-husband. But throughout the series, he starts showing everybody that, they can be more than what they choose to be. And Jason Sudeikis, he's brilliant in this show. It's a side of him that I've never seen in anything he's ever been in. Because you think of him, you think of Hall Passer, you think of like We're the Millers, or like one of those really like messed up comedies where he always plays like the same kind of character. And this one, I've got to say, like this is what won me over as a fan of this guy because of how brilliantly he portrayed this character Ted Lasso, and then Coach Beard on top of that, like his assistant coach in the series. It's just the
The
whole thing is
amazing
brilliant.
Brendan Hunt.
Yes. Yep. And then you have this critic, this journalist, this sports journalist who is so brutal with everyone that people are afraid of him for whatever reason. That they're afraid to let him ask questions, and they're more afraid of letting the athletes answer the questions, or the coaches rather answer the questions. And there's this whole monologue by this guy at the end of the very first episode where this guy was talking about how even though Ted Lasso will inevitably fail, he cannot help but root for him because he has that much respect for the character. And they actually become friends throughout the season and into the second season. They become very close friends. But there's so many moments in this series, that is so emotionally charged that Justin, again, you say it's your guilty pleasure. You know what? I don't think there should be any guilt behind enjoying that show. To me, that show is brilliantly written.
It's just a great show.
It really is. Like, I mean, and as you put it, like, I missed the episode when I had my first run. I guess I fell asleep and I kind of skipped one episode trying to get caught up. But there's an entire episode dedicated to Coach Beard and seeing how he himself is also a fish out of water. And you really see what makes this man tick. And it's not often that you see in a TV show where a side supporting character has an entire episode away from the protagonist of the series. And it's revealed that they have their own problems, and you actually get an in-depth look at those problems. So the way they handled that episode was absolutely beautiful.
It's just one of the best episodes of television that I've ever seen.
I have to agree with you on that one. And that's also, of course, coming from a man who doesn't really watch much television. So, but okay, but that's my pick. Josh, what else you got?
Before we move on, I do want to say that Brett Goldstein as Roy Kent.
Oh yes, yep.
God, you just wind up falling in love with that man.
Okay. No. He's amazing in that. Like he's just he's like the crotchety old man of the soccer team.
I just started thinking about some of the stuff he says, stuff that I can't even say on the internet. It's just always dropping F-bombs left and right.
Yeah, that's more of a me thing. I think I identify with him quite a bit. So.
Oi.
Like that one scene where he busts into the nightclub. And what was the name of the equipment manager's what was his name?
The equipment manager?
Whoever it was that they were all like just razzing the entire time.
That was oh gosh. That was Nathan.
Nathan, that's it. When he busts in there into the nightclub where they're all partying and everything else, and he's about to take down like his rival, like, you know, but like he busts in there, this guy's legally blind. And he's like putting everyone's like, whichever one of you I'm talking to, leave Nathan alone. He like just turns around and he like picks up like a little drink, and it's like whipped cream vodka flavored. Such a child, and he walks out. He's just a cranky old man. I love it. But yeah. So that's my whole thing. Ted Lasso. It came out in 2020, but again, I was not introduced to it until 2021, and I think Josh, didn't I tell you to watch it?
I couldn't tell you what the origin of me watching Ted Lasso was because it was just recommended.
That's right. I remember now. I remember now. An actress I worked with compared the writing of Bad Agent to that of Ted Lasso, or the idea of Bad Agent, rather, the series that you and I created. She compared it to that of Ted Lasso. And I thought I was going to be bored out of my mind watching Ted Lasso because, again, I don't get into TV shows. And I binged watched the entire first season in, I think, one sitting.
Yeah, me too.
And then I immediately called you. I'm like, you have to watch this show. Oh, what's it on? Oh, Apple Plus. Or yeah, God, Apple Plus. Jesus, Apple TV. So, because I think didn't I give you like my login for Apple TV or something like that
to make you did, but I never used it. I did the free trial.
You know what? I try to pay you back because I hustled and pretty much like mooched off of your Hulu for like God. Years, I think.
A little bit. Your profile's still on there.
What is it? Brandon loves you or something like that? Like,
yes. Kids got curious as to why that was there one day. I said I think he's tired of messing up the shows I'm watching.
Yeah, that's exactly why I did it. So, but that's my talk. That's one of my talk picks. Josh, what do you have? What do you have next? Movie or TV show?
I'm still going to stick with TV shows, except I think I'm just going to kind of give a like a scatter shot of a few shows that I'm not going to really dive into.
Okay.
There are some shows that return this season, and some shows that are leaving this season that deserve a shout. And at the same time, there are things that premiered that we're probably going to break down a little bit more, but we'll save those for last when it comes to TV. And or since I'm not being particularly forthcoming, Brandon's probably going to jump right into it on his turn. But I do want to give some shout outs to shows like The Connors. They did a tremendous job of moving on with that family after the abrupt removal of Roseanne from the show Roseanne
I was going to say, after removing the matriarch of the TV show.
and just killing her off.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to go into the rights and wrongs of that. Personally, I think the show's actually been better since Roseanne was removed from it as a character. Not, again, because of her as a person,
Well, it
but
let the other
because,
characters grow.
yeah, everyone's finally getting a chance to breathe. And Dan having new love interest with Katie Siegel's character. Everyone might remember her as Peg Bundy or Leela from Futurama or Sons of Anarchy. She was in it, right? I never saw Sons of Anarchy, so I don't know. And also, Brooklyn Nine-Nine ended its run this year. And that was a show that I absolutely adored. It had a wonderful cast. Always a fun and interesting story, especially the heist episodes. Beautifully done. Absolutely loved Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So I wanted to make sure, at the very least, those two shows got their shout outs, especially since they are network shows. I don't think anybody is really riding high on network TV right now with all the amazing things that streaming services are putting out. And quite frankly, I find it more enjoyable to watch something on a streaming service because, of course, no commercials. The
Yeah.
usual ad-based programming just doesn't do it for me so much anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. That's why I have to always change up my YouTube account so I can keep getting those free trials and not deal with the ads.
And did Cobra Kai came out on the 31st, right?
I think so. It came out in the 2021.
Okay, so I'll give an honorable mention to the most recent season of Cobra Kai. It's only been out for a week, so we're not really going to talk about it. But if you like Cobra Kai, you'll like it. And I do. Brandon.
Mixed. What?
You're next. Talk.
All right. Can I just jump to like my number one favorite, or are we building up to that?
I didn't think we were going in any particular order.
Okay. Well, I will say, and I had to say this. Anyone that knows me knows what my number one favorite anything that got released this past year is going to be. Ghostbusters Afterlife was, to me, a beautiful film on multiple levels. First off, it was a straight up love letter from the biggest Ghostbuster fan, the original Ghostbusters fan, Jason Reitman. Um, I think it was like a love letter to not just the fans, but primarily to the legacy his father built, and that Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis created. And it was such a beautiful send off to Harold Ramis's character Egon. And you know what? The movie's been out long enough. I'll spoil it. It is a Spangler story. Egon is dead. He dies in the beginning of the film. The very opening scene of the film is Egon's death. And it is probably, Josh, you have to agree with me on this one. It is probably actually, I want to say it's probably the most badass scene in all of the Ghostbuster films.
I can agree with that.
Like, I mean, Egon was just a straight beast up until the second he died. And when he was about to die, he owned it. He knew it was happening. He owned it. But it was not so much just that, but it was about like the grandkids coming into their own in a town that is the next coming of the entity Gozer from the original film, played by Olivia Wilde, who was awesome as Gozer. I've got to say that. I mean, first off, it's Olivia Wilde. I mean, damn. Second, it was just like one of those things where the way it was handled, the whole movie, it was done in such a brilliant way. And again, like it was done in a way that really honored the legacy of what was created. So there's mine. Josh, what's next on yours?
Well, I'm still on TV. I haven't even started my movies yet.
That's fine. I'm going in and out.
Well, we can't talk about Best of TV 2021 without mentioning Marvel and what they've done.
The series, yeah.
We're talking WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, Loki, What If, and yes, even Hawkeye. I'd say that when it comes to television, Marvel is playing a perfect game right now.
Absolutely. No, they're killing it. I mean, they're doing a great job with it. And
I
the
know-
fact that the TV shows are tied so directly to the movies, and this time the movies pretty much like actually acknowledging the TV shows, because they didn't do much of that during the Agents of Shield run. Actually, I don't think they
that was
did.
unfortunate.
I don't think they really acknowledged Agents of Shield at all. The movies, the show
Oh yeah,
acknowledged
they
the
totally
movies.
did.
I can't think of a single time where that. I mean, I only saw like 2 episodes of Agents of Shield, but
Well,
we never saw.
I want to say it was the second season. I could be wrong. Somebody out there correct me if I'm wrong. But the Agents of Shield had a mission. They were, digging up intel, and it reached a certain point where they had to kind of back off a little bit, and the episode ended with like Coulson going, now we call in the big guns, and that's where Age of Ultron picks up.
Okay, yeah, but that's not the same as Age of Ultron, like acknowledging the events of Agent of Shield.
Well, if you recall, Age of Ultron begins with the Avengers raid on the compound.
Yeah,
which was set up in Agents of Shield. Otherwise, it's like, well, this is a completely random thing that's happening. It's like, no, it was very much set up by Agents of Shield to get the information that they were looking for. And the Avengers are the ones that executed the mission. So it was a direct continuation from Agents of Shield.
no, I know, but what I'm saying is like the movies themselves never really mention what happens in Agents of Shield. Like they never really talk about any of this stuff. So unless you watch Agents of Shield, if you just see the movies, you never know anything about Agents of Shield because it's never mentioned.
No, it was definitely designed in a way that if you missed Agents of Shield, which they assumed that I guess people did, considering the viewership, numbers.
Yeah. Not that many, surprisingly. I was surprised by how little it was watched for a Marvel property compared to things like the CW.
Yeah, yeah. And as the show went on, it became even less and less tied to what was going on
Yeah.
in the MCU,
Yeah.
which again, it was unfortunate.
See, it would have been awesome to see some characters. For me, it would have been awesome to see characters like Ghost Rider show up in the MCU. Now, I know Ghost Rider probably will show up at some point, but you know that they're going to reinvent that character for the sole purposes of the MCU. Um, because I'm not too sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is Ghost Rider was a Fox property, wasn't he?
I think so.
And since Disney like pretty much absorbed Fox, that means that much like Bart Simpson, Ghost Rider's ass now belongs to Disney.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So, because I mean, like the Ghost Rider that we got in Agents of Shield, again, I have only seen like one or two episodes of the first season. But when I heard Ghost Rider was in it, of course, I had to YouTube that because I'm not going to sit there and watch everything leading up to Ghost Rider's arrival. It wasn't Johnny Blaze. It was I forget the guy's name. Um, but it was still a pretty badass version of Ghost Rider. And to my understanding, Ghost Rider, like the spirit passed from him to somebody else at some point. But so it was pretty cool. The way they did it. I honestly, dare I say, looked better than the Ghost Rider from the first movie. That was even more badass, like to me. But yeah, no, I mean, Agents of Shield, I'll give you that one. It's it's not bad, not horrible, not great. It's
It was what it was. The kids got into it.
yeah.
It
It's
was
like the CW shows. It's got its own fan base. Like people love the CW shows, but I really don't get behind them either. So
it's weird because somebody suggested that I would watch Arrow, so I did,
God,
and I couldn't say I really got into it, but because it was intrinsically tied, the Arrowverse became a thing.
yeah.
I started watching Flash, and I'm like, I really like the Flash. And then I became a big Wentworth Miller fan because of the Flash. So I started watching Legends of Tomorrow, and I was a fan of Glee back in the day. I can't say I was a Gleek, as they like to be called, but Melissa Benoist and Grant Gustin, both from Glee. It was it was right up my alley. What can I say?
Oh my God.
And talk about surprises from 2021. The new Superman and Lois show completely took me off guard.
That really caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting to like that. Um, dare I say, sorry to all you Snyderverse people. I think that Tyler, what's his face, probably did a better job than Henry Cavill did with Superman.
Now, I can agree with that on this one simple on this one note here, because I don't blame Cavill for his interpretation of Superman. I think he did a
No,
splendid job.
I think he did a brilliant job of Superman. It's just, but they're also different interpretations of that character.
I think in the first 90 seconds of the debut of that show, it's just a montage of Superman doing Superman things. He's saving people. He's averting disasters. He's being Superman, something we never got to see in the Snyder movies.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much most of what we got from the Snyder films is Superman is like constantly being compared to Jesus. That's pretty much what we got. And don't get me started on Batman v Superman. My God,
I would have
listen,
preferred my Superman Jesus moments to be after a long and storied career.
yeah, just you know, Superman reveals himself to the world, and 5 minutes later, he levels all of pretty much half of Metropolis. So,
And it makes everybody love him more.
yep. And they even built a statue for the damn dude. But, but at least we got Jesse Eisenberg. Oh God. Um,
I'm Lex Luthor.
you should never pick a fight with this man. Okay, dude, tone it down. Like for an egotistical actor, you're not that great. Like, God. Um, but you know what? I'm going to say this, and these two shows are tied together. Also, as you put it, like you have the Marvel shows that came out. Brilliant shows, but and they all touch on certain things too. If you notice that with the Marvel TV shows on Disney Plus, they all touch on certain things, right? You have what was the first one that came out? WandaVision, touched largely on grief.
Yeah.
Okay, you have the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That touches on pretty much moving forward, like moving on, like the next step in life. You have the Falcon and the Winter Soldier both making do with where their stations are in life now without Captain America, the legacy of that shield, and where does it belong? And Anthony Mackie, his debut as Captain America, I didn't know what I would think about that, because just seeing the Falcon and the Captain America thing put together, I honestly thought that it was going to be Bucky. But I've got to say that, Sam wielding the shield while rocking those wings, he was a badass with that bad boy. Like he rocked it. Um, but then you also have U.S. Agent in that. And you see the difference between Captain America and this character of U.S. Agent, who Captain America always introduced himself as Steve Rogers. He never introduced himself as Captain America. He was always introduced himself as Steve or Steve Rogers. That's who he was. He didn't need the shield to define who he was as a person. The new character only ever introduced himself as Captain America, as if it was a title to be won. Like he deserved to be called that, and he was a brutal Captain America. He needed that shield so badly that he created his own version of it. And then you had what was the next one up after that? It was
Loki.
Loki. There are some very, very, very serious parts of Loki that hit hard. Like the very last thing that Loki ever experienced before he died, according to his memories, was his brother mourning his death as he was dying. The very last, like this man witnessed his own death. And that movie is just not. It's all about not belonging, finding your place. And then you have things like Hawkeye. Hawkeye is very much, about healing. It's what it is. It's coming to terms. Each of these shows dealt with a different stage of grief to me. And I identified with near every single thing in it. Those shows were absolutely brilliant. I love them. But speaking of Disney Plus shows, the two shows I'm talking about that are tied together are The Mandalorian and Boba Fett. We were introduced to Boba Fett in the last season of The Mandalorian. Just like an episode or two before, we got to see Luke Skywalker in the most badass version of Luke Skywalker that we've ever seen on screen. for just a few seconds. We got like a repeat of like Darth Vader's most badass moment at the end of what do you call it?
Rogue One.
Rogue One. It was like almost like a mirror of that too. If you like, if you think about it, it was like damn near like a mirror of Darth Vader. I think that's probably what it was supposed to be. But Boba Fett. Now it's only 2 episodes in right now, but the Book of Boba Fett. First off, bringing back the actor who who was the very first person, or I'm sorry, to play the original bounty hunter that Boba Fett's a clone of. Having him come back, the guy who played Jango Fett to come back to play Boba Fett as an adult. Yeah, is he a chunky Boba Fett? Yeah, he's a little chunky, like but you know what? He's still a badass. And I don't know if you've been watching it so far, Josh, but like the last episode, have you seen any of the episodes yet?
I have not.
Then I won't spoil it for you. But it's to me, it's a great show. It's all about Boba Fett pretty much taking over Jabba's throne and the obstacles that are in his way to become the next ruler of, I guess, Tatooine. But so far, the show's awesome. One of my favorite shows so far released in 2021. So that's mine, though. I had to touch on the Disney Plus Marvel shows because, they really said a lot to me with those shows.
I was referring to those earlier when I figured we'd unpack them. Although we didn't mention What If.
Oh, yep, What If. But I mean, What If was like its own kind of entity, though. It didn't really. Well, I guess it might have some kind of continuity with the MCU because
it's what the Multiverse of Madness is based on.
Yeah, and like at the end of Multiverse of Madness, you have like the evil Doctor Strange in the trailer. So, and plus the villain of Multiverse of Madness, to my understanding, the big tentacle thing, which has been listed as being the primary antagonist of Multiverse of Madness, is in the show. He the evil Doctor Strange in that timeline actually absorbs him, if I'm not mistaken.
It was a battle. I loved it. I loved everything in What If, and the fact that everybody came together and we got the Guardians of the Multiverse, which maybe we could be seeing more of on the big screen.
Yeah,
it's going to be fun to watch, and I honestly can't wait until the new Doctor Strange movie comes out. But at some point, we'll do a most anticipated or whatnot. And see what's making us really excited for the new year. I guess I will move on to some of the things that I really enjoyed movies wise. Excuse me.
Okay.
I'm just going to kind of shotgun blast a few of these honorable mention likes real quick.
Are we working up to the top one?
At the top few. These are the ones that I really enjoyed, but we don't really need to kind of break down.
Okay.
The Little Things, that was a fine movie released very early on in the WB HBO partnership for the pandemic. That was Rami Malek and Denzel Washington, Jared Leto. You kind of know what you're getting there with those three guys. The sequel to Coming to America, called Coming to America, I like that. Boss Level. I love time loop movies. Frank Grillo and Mel Gibson, great rivalry there. And a movie that I kind of came from nowhere for me. I didn't even know it was coming. And like I said, I absolutely love time loop movies. And speaking of which, the map of what is it called? The Map of Tiny Perfect Things, another time loop movie. This one from Amazon, I want to say. But while Boss Level is an action-packed, video game on film, essentially, the Map of Tiny Perfect Things is more of a, heartfelt kind of, you know, teen romance deal. But I love time loop movies. The Tomorrow War, much better than I thought it was going to be.
I was surprised by that one.
There's some quality to it. America, the motion picture, not exactly the most historically accurate look at the founding fathers, but if you are in the mood for a raucous, dear Lord, what did I just watch cartoon? Yeah, America, the motion picture on Netflix. It'll jack you up, man. Shang-Chi. It's a Marvel movie. I don't know why I'm surprised that it was good, but they hooked me, and I became a fan of a lot of people. Cruella. Watched that with the kids. Enjoyed it very much. Thought it was had a very good style for what it was going for.
No, I'll say this with Disney, they are very much hit or miss with their properties. They have some amazing shows, or some amazing movies rather. Let me rephrase that. The updated versions of their properties. Some of them are hit or miss. Cruella was actually brilliant, but now I'm kind of curious as to where she gets her hatred for dogs.
Is it a hatred, though?
Well, or I'm sorry, it's a love for their fur and skinning them.
Fair.
Call it what you want.
Just real quick, Tick Tick Boom, Andrew Garfield musical, amazing. King Richard, about the father of the Williams sisters, Venus and Serena.
Yep.
Last Night in Soho, Edgar Wright's latest. It's trippy. Shout out to Being the Ricardos, Breaking News in Yuma County, Vacation Friends.
Yeah, Vacation Friends is actually pretty good.
I had no idea that it was going to amuse me so much, yet there it was. Ride the Eagle. That's another one that kind of caught me off guard. Jake Johnson starring. He's a guy that kind of got estranged from his mom, and she left him a list of things to do to not help him reconnect with her, but help him reconnect with himself. And he's like, fine, I'll do it, whatever. He's Jake Johnson. And lastly, I will mention 3 animated movies that deserve to be mentioned. The first being Luca, and then Raya, the Last Dragon. Raya and the Last Dragon. Is that what it is? Yeah, Raya and the Last Dragon. And a movie that absolutely surprised me, Encanto. Loved it.
I still have to see that one.
Available on Disney Plus. Watch it as soon as possible. A lot of music by Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Okay.
Same as Vivo. Same as Tick Tick Boom. Basically, whether I knew it or not, all of my favorite music-based movies this year have been done by Lin-Manuel Miranda. And I guess listening back, thinking back to the songs that were in these movies, you could hear his flavor coming through, his style, which is basically an audio version of catnip for my ears. I enjoy it very much. But those are my honorable mentions before getting to some of the top movies that I'd seen
Okay.
this year. Well, you want me to just go ahead and bust down my top picks?
Go for it.
All right, take a little sip of the water there. All right. Here we go. The first one I'm going to talk about is Judas and the Black Messiah. It's the story of Fred Hampton, deputy chairman of the National Black Panther Party. He was assassinated in 1969 by a Cook County tactical unit on the orders of the FBI and the Chicago Police Department. Now, if you want a movie that'll make you angry, this is it.
Yep.
Especially, realizing what led up to all of this and who was behind what, and the fact that it's true. At least as true as biopics tend to be. I know that when it comes to making film, you are trying to tell a story and make people feel a certain way. That's the point. Especially when compared to, say, The Eyes of Tammy Faye, who absolutely painted Tammy Faye Baker as a sympathetic sort, someone that deserves sympathy, even though there were, the scandals and the embezzlements and all that. By the way, great performance by Andrew Garfield and Jessica Chastain. read the review on the WADcast.com. But Judas and the Black Messiah tells a no-holds-barred kind of version of what was going on during that time frame. And it has absolutely amazing performances by everybody. So if you want to talk about where awards should be going this season, that's, to me, the logical first step, the first place to look. Next up, it's a movie that didn't get much anything. It kind of passed under the radar without even making a blip on a lot of people's screens. That's Moxie.
Okay.
Directed by Amy Poehler, and she's got a supporting role in it too, as a mother of a shy teenager who finds a voice by publishing a zine and distributing it at her school, promoting feminism and going against toxic jock types that, you've seen the tropes.
Yeah.
So it was one that I felt like I could really not only enjoy myself, because I'm a fan of Amy Poehler and her style, but it's one that I could watch with my kids because it has a good message. And that's why it made my best of lists. Playing God. Again, check out the review on thewadcast.com. This one caught me off guard. Did not see enjoying this coming as much as I did. But the performances from Alan Tudyk and Michael McKean are absolutely amazing. It doesn't play up their comedic talents as much. Michael McCain more so than Alan Tudyk, but Alan's really given a chance given a chance to shine, as it were, as a wealthy, very wealthy. He's a rich man, like eccentric rich, that lost his child, and he wants to find out why. So we pick up with two sibling con artists that are getting into a bit of trouble with another mark that they had, and they're given a new mark. This grieving rich guy that's actively looking for God in every way possible. So what they do is they formulate this plan to get money from him by making him believe that he's talking to God. And the emotion is so gut wrenching. Now, mind you, it has a lot of the basic tenets of like a heist movie, setting things up, people getting into character and whatnot. And I don't know if I should mention anything about the ending, but it's fairly telegraphed throughout. So unfortunately, what is supposed to be a surprise is like, eh. But still, for the performances alone, I throw this in my top lists. A couple more. Don't Look Up. Talk about controversial. It's either going to be on people's best of or worst of lists. I don't think anybody's really ignoring it if they've seen it. But it is on one of my best of lists. And it's probably, nay, definitely the best thing I've ever seen Jennifer Lawrence in. And I don't want to make that sound like I'm, judging what she's done before, but I did just come off watching the entire Hunger Games trilogy for the first time.
I'm sorry.
And it was very underwhelming. Considering I read the books, my expectations weren't up there to begin with. But yeah, I absolutely loved Jennifer Lawrence in this. Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm not going to say he pushed the boundaries of his talents, but he brought his usual flair to
His Leonardo DiCaprio-ness.
Yes. I don't think they could have found a better handsome scientist that wasn't Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah. Okay.
Give a lot of credit to Meryl Streep and Jonah Hill for rounding out the White House administration in this. Tyler Perry. I really... I think being a morning show host actually suits him very well.
Yeah, I think he should definitely do that instead of directing from now on.
Ouch.
It's Tyler Perry. Come on.
Yeah, he's heartbroken all the way to the bank, right?
I don't care. He's not that. Like, come on, man. His stuff is pretty. It's gone
It is what
downhill.
it is.
So,
Have you seen one? You've seen them all, right?
pretty much. That's it. He's like, yeah. Never mind. Yeah, he's Tyler Perry.
Let's see, Finch, Tom Hanks, and a robot. It's great. I don't really know what else to say about that. That's all it is. It's Tom Hanks, and he makes a robot.
Okay.
And set in the post-apocalypse. So, yeah. Two more movies left. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the lesser ranked one, Coda. It's a movie that's getting a lot of play, a lot of buzz right now. It stands for Child of Deaf Adults. It's about a girl that can sing, but her entire family's deaf and runs a fishing boat. So, like most of the movies that have, talented person but family needs me movies, she's going to have to face a choice of either following her dreams and becoming a singer or being where she's needed and helping her deaf family run the fishing boat. The performances in this are absolutely amazing. I'll get into some of that in a little bit when I talk Golden Globes. But finally, we're talking my favorite movie of the year. As much as I would love to say that it's Spider-Man No Way Home, this is like more of a 1A, 1B type situation. But the combination, the deadly combination of coming out of nowhere, not knowing this movie was coming, not knowing this movie existed, to being watched. Plus the talent behind it left me absolutely stunned. The Mitchells versus the Machines.
Oh yeah, that's a really good movie.
I did not know what to expect when I saw this crazy movie poster pop up on Netflix. But everything about this movie is I'm absolutely in love with it. The family, the Mitchells, the two robots that they first encounter, and the relationship that everybody has with each other. It's exquisite and hilarious. And it takes my top spot as my favorite movie of 2021.
Okay.
Well, I've been going on for a while. Why don't you say some words?
I just thought you were gonna have like maybe 2 or 3 more movies that you're going to show out. That was like 15. All right, so my list is actually much shorter, and I'm actually going to switch it up. I only have one more really good release I want to talk about, and then I'm going to talk about movies I hated in 2021. But the last movie I've got to say that I really enjoyed was and there's a long list. I can go through a long list. But I will say that Nicolas Cage surprised me with this one, and it's the only movie that he has where he doesn't say a single damn thing the entire film. But Willy's Wonderland. If you guys haven't heard of it, it's okay. It didn't get a really big release. It was direct to Amazon Prime, and I think it's on Hulu right now. But it's just Nicolas Cage plays a guy that doesn't say a word. He is passing through a town in his Mustang. He runs over a spike strip, blows out his tires, and turns out that this is a trap to get unsuspecting people to have to go in and clean up this kids amusement dinner theater kind of thing, like a Chuck E. Cheese. Um, and the guy, the reason why he has to go clean this is because the lead machine in this kids restaurant, um, Willie the Weasel, is possessed by the soul of a serial killer. In fact, every single one of the machines are possessed by killers. And so whenever they get the person or a family to go in there and clean that place up, these machines then kill them and accept them as a sacrifice. It's an agreement that the town has with the creatures of this place. A really good movie. I thought like it's nothing you can really take seriously. It's over the top, but it is hysterical. Especially if you like when you watch Nicolas Cage fight the very first machine, which is like a giant ostrich. There's a scene where the ostrich, like I guess, scratches his face like by snapping at him, and Nicolas Cage breaks a broomstick over his leg, and you see this oh shit look in the ostrich's face. It's actually hysterical. It really is. Um, but I'm just gonna make that my one must see for last year. But a few films that I watched that were bad. And just say, hey, I'm just going to go through three of them so we can move on to the Golden Globes thing. But first one, Thunder Force, with Melissa McCarthy and Octavia Spencer, which is really shocking because they even had Jason Bateman, and I love Jason Bateman. And Melissa McCarthy, she's actually a very talented actress if you see her more serious things. She's a very talented actress, but she always plays the same person in her comedies. It never changes. She's just Melissa McCarthy in her comedies. And Octavia Spencer, I can't describe how let down I was by that one. Next up on my list was Spiral from the Book of Saw. I could see the whole damn thing coming. You know, in every Saw movie, whenever someone is unceremoniously killed off screen, chances are they're the new killer. Or they're involved somehow. It's just how it works.
But it didn't stop Chris Rock from constantly looking like somebody farted.
Oh yeah, no. He always looks like he just smelled like a fresh amount of beef that came out of someone's ass. Like he's constantly he has this like stink face the entire film. And I get it. He hates the department he works in and yada 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 whatever. He was trying too hard. Samuel L. Jackson was a highlight of that movie.
I
But
will say that that facial expression is the only thing that I can say negative about Chris Rock's performance. Otherwise, it does make me want to see him in a more serious capacity.
oh yeah, no. Chris Rock he can also act. Like he can actually really act. But this movie, like it's just one of those deals where aside from his like stink face and his desire to look like he's a worn out cop, like I mean, just he could have just delivered his lines the same way without that face, and it would have been much more effective to me. And you know what? I will say this: I appreciate this movie because it is a remake of a movie that came out in 2003, I believe. I guess it's considered a horror film, but I didn't really think it was remotely scary. It's the remake of Wrong Turn. It has Charlotte Vega, Aidan Bradley, Bill Sage, Emma Dumont. It's directed by Mike P. Nelson. But instead of them like the original Wrong Turn, these kids are just driving through the woods and they run afoul of some inbred hillbillies with insanely high super strength and durability and agility. I don't know, but they're also cannibals, so they kill them, they eat the kids, or whatever the deal is. You see my girl Emmanuelle Shriekley in the original get an axe like in her mouth, chopping the top of her head clean off, which is a damn shame because she's just perfection. But this one, it's more. Ever since the Reagan administration, this group of people retreated into the woods to start their own civilization, and it's more of a cult kind of thing. That is like hillbillies. Didn't do it for me. It's I thought I was gonna watch like a slasher horror thing, and it was just not that. It was pretty rough. So those are my the top 3 worst. Don't worry, my worst list. It's a long list, but we're already like at an hour and 15 minutes into the show, and my list would take us like another half hour into the show. But Josh, why don't you go ahead and I'll let you start your new segment of the Golden Globes nomination. What do you got going on?
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Why?
Because I didn't get to say what I didn't like.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead.
I don't think any of these are worth more than a mention, a blurb. So I'm going to say Old, absolutely at the bottom of my list.
Movie sucks.
M. Night Shyamalan. And it's saying something considering Space Jam 2 is also on the list, but higher up. Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Now, if I was into, buddy comedies based on terrible murderous creatures, sure. But I have a love of the source material, and to see it turn into a buddy comedy is weird and unusual for me. So, and finally, the only other one I'm going to mention is Evil Dies Tonight. Evil Dies Tonight. Halloween Kills. It was not good. It was not good. And honorable mention, Army of the Dead. Boom, I said it.
Yeah, that movie just got weird. Like zombie, apparently, okay, spoiler alert, people. Here's my 1 per episode. Zombies are fucking now. Yeah, you can decapitate them. They'll stay alive because there's no blood flow. But apparently there is blood flow because, dude zombie can get a hard on. I don't know how that works. But you know what? It's Zack Snyder, so it's probably just best not to question.
Don't question it.
It is because Zack Snyder wills it that way.
At least with Tom and Jerry, I'm like, it's Tom and Jerry. My expectations are low, and it met them.
Yeah, like Tom and Jerry's like, let's face it, we are not the demographic for Tom and Jerry. Like we were the demographic for Tom and Jerry when it was the Tom and Jerry movie in the 1990s, in the early 90s that came out when they were speaking to each other. The only time I can think of that Tom and Jerry actually had a lot of dialogue in anything or had any dialogue in anything was in that movie. But that's back when we were the demographic. We were little kids. This? Yeah, not really.
All right, so I'm going to put on my guru hat, and we're going to run through the list of Golden Globe nominees because the Golden Globe Awards are this Sunday, which I'll put together some sort of viewing party. Just stay tuned to the appropriate Facebook pages. We'll see if we can get something going. Starting with Best Foreign Language Film. I haven't seen any of them, so I'm going to go with Drive My Car from Japan. Why? Because, I don't know, it's Japanese.
Okay.
Best Animated Feature. The nominees are Encanto, Flea, Luca, My Sunny Mad, Raya, and The Last Dragon. There's a couple of reasons this particular category is infuriating to me right now. One, the Mitchells versus the Machines not on here. That makes me sad. Two of these animated films are dramas. And yeah, I suppose because they're animated, they should be nominated and maybe given a serious look. But Flea and My Sunny Mad, those just aren't the kind of movies I think about when I think best animated feature. It's the only chance the silly kids cartoons have a time to shine. So maybe best dramatic animated feature should be a new category because I want to be able to feel good that, you know, Encanto wins an award, which is, by the way, my pick.
Okay.
Just let the kids have their one category.
Hell with them
Uh,
kids.
You've been reading my script. Let's see. Best original song. For me, it's basically between Encanto with Dos Uruguitas and No Time to Die from No Time to Die. But since we're not going on my, personal opinions, I'm going to say Encanto takes it. Best original score. I'm just going to go ahead and say Encanto.
Okay.
Now, best screenplay. I've seen 4 out of 5 of these nominees. The only one I haven't seen is Licorice Pizza from Paul Thomas Anderson. I'm okay. I've only seen half of Belfast so far. I was watching it right before we came on the air, so I'm going to automatically kind of count that one out. Good movie so far. I'm very much enjoying it. The Power of the Dog. That almost made my worst of list, but I realized that I couldn't do that because it's not a bad movie. In fact, as I've told Brandon on numerous occasions, it's too good for me. It's one of those movies where I don't watch enough movies, and this is coming from the person that watched what was the count 382 last year. That I don't watch enough movies for this to make sense to me. It is talk about a slow burn. Whew. This movie would make you know just insert a slow burning joke here. And Adam McKay's Don't Look Up. Absolutely loved it. Aaron Sorkin, a guy that is, known for writing dialogue, brought the heat with being the Ricardos. But I'm going to say Don't Look Up should get the nod here because there was a wider collection of various characters and story to tie together. Whereas being the Ricardos, it's what it did right, it did well, but it's a very focused script. Best director. Do I go with Jane Campion because The Power of the Dog is actually really good but hard to watch? Or I don't know. I've only actually seen part of one of these movies. Uh, the nominees are Kenneth Branagh and for Belfast, Jane Campion, Power of the Dog, Maggie Gyllenhaal, The Lost Daughter, Steven Spielberg, West Side Story, and Denis Villeneuve for Dune. I thought I could watch Dune. I started it and I'm like, I'm just not in the right frame of mind, and I haven't been in the frame of mind for it at all while it was on HBO Max, and now it's not there. So when it comes back, I'll give it another shot. But honestly, this is a real toss up for me. I don't know where this goes. So using my predictive powers, I'm just going to say it goes to Jane Campion. That's the best supporting actress in a motion picture. Let's see. Catriona Balfe as Ma in Belfast. Ariana DeBose as Anita in West Side Story. Kirsten Dunst as Rose Gordon in The Power of the Dog. Anjanu Ellis as Brandy Price in King Richard, and Ruth Nega as Claire Bellew in Passing. I've seen 3.5 out of 5. And I can see this either going to Anjanu or Ruth. Because while Passing wasn't exactly my favorite performance out of everybody on the list, it's still very, very respectable. So
Okay.
I'm going to go with, I'm going to say Ruth. Ruth Nega gets the nod. Best Supporting Actor: Ben Affleck, The Tender Bar; Jamie Dornan, Belfast; Clara Hines, Belfast; Troy Kotsur, Coda; Cody Smith McPhee, The Power of the Dog. Yeah, this one's easy for me, hands down. Troy Kotsur for Coda. That is a powerhouse performance right there. And it's all done in sign language. So take that for what you will, but that was definitely my favorite supporting performance. Hands down.
Okay.
Best performance in a motion picture, musical, or comedy. Marion, for actress, Marion Cotillard, Annette, Alana Haim, Licorice Pizza; Jennifer Lawrence, Don't Look Up; Emma Stone, Cruella; Rachel Ziegler, West Side Story. A lot of interesting stuff here. Again, haven't seen Licorice Pizza, haven't seen Annette. Jennifer Lawrence is the safe pick. Emma Stone, respectable, but I don't know if it's gonna get the nod. And Rachel Ziegler, someone that, if I'm not mistaken, she literally came from a high school production of West Side Story to star in Steven Spielberg's version. I mean, wow, right? So I'm gonna go with the safe choice, Jennifer Lawrence. Best actor, Don't Look Up, Leonardo DiCaprio; Peter Dinklage in Cyrano; Andrew Garfield in Tick Tick Boom; Cooper Hoffman, Licorice Pizza; Anthony Ramos in The Heights. Now, it depends on what they're going to go for here, musical or comedy, because I don't see Leo getting it as much as I love Don't Look Up. I haven't seen Licorice Pizza or Cyrano, so between Tick Tick Boom and In the Heights, whew, as much as I would love to see the love given to Anthony Ramos, I think Andrew Garfield's kind of riding a high right now. So, yeah, I'll say Andrew Garfield.
And not bad for somebody that wanted to give up on acting in movies for a little while to focus on a stage career. The guy just kind of took a little brief hiatus and then got right back into, acting in movies.
He had 3 major releases this year. Unfortunately, Spider-Man No Way Home is not listed for any awards yet, but 2 of those releases are featured in here, including for Best Performance in a Motion Picture Drama Actress, Jessica Chastain as Tammy Faye Baker in The Eyes of Tammy Faye; Olivia Colman in The Lost Daughter; Lady Gaga in House of Gucci; Nicole Kidman in Being the Ricardos; and Kristen Stewart in Spencer. I've seen 3 of these. Nicole Kidman really buries herself in the role of Lucille Ball, but so does Jessica Chastain.
Nicole Kidman was acting in something?
Yes.
Wow. When did that happen?
This year or last year on Amazon.
Huh. Okay. Well, go her. I'm happy she decided to change her career from existing with confused face to acting.
Oh yeah, it was a great performance.
That's good. I'm proud of her.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and say, God, this is hard because there are definitely some almost no bad choices here.
Nicole Kidman, if you ever hear this episode by any chance and stumble upon it and get this far into this episode, I just want you to know that I'm mostly kidding about your acting chops.
You know what? I'm going to have to give the nod to Nicole Kidman just to make it up to her after what you said.
The truth may set her free, but first it's going to piss her off. And somewhere out there is some uber Nicole Kidman fan that's in her fan club and everything else that is just shaking his fist in anger right now, placing me at the top of his kill list or her kill list, whatever.
And hopefully earning me a spot in the bunker for when the world ends.
Yep, I'm telling you.
He said he liked one of my movies, so save him.
So it's got to be like I guess it's a British guy. What do you know, Josh? What do you know that I don't know?
I know who's nominated for Best Performance in a Motion Picture Drama.
Okay, yeah, I don't follow the Golden Globes.
You don't follow anything.
Yeah, those are award shows. Like the last time I watched an award show was to see Ricky Gervais, and I was not disappointed. And then ripped everyone apart.
We have Mahershala Ali.
Oh, we still have more. Okay.
Oh yeah, Javier Bardem being the Ricardos. Oh, Mahershala Ali and Swan Song. Benedict Cumberbatch in Power of the Dog. Will Smith in King Richard. Denzel Washington, The Tragedy of Macbeth. There's going to be, I don't know. Is there going to be pushback for Will Smith after everything that's been going on? I can almost see them just automatically giving it to Cumberbatch because his performance is amazing in Power of the Dog. It's just nobody does anything. Let's go with Benedict Cumbernickel. And finally, when it comes to the best motion pictures in musical or comedy, Cyrano, Don't Look Up, Licorice Pizza, Tick Tick Boom, or West Side Story. I'm going with Don't Look Up. It's riding a wave right now, and boy, do these groups like to just irritate people. And for drama, Belfast, Coda, Dune, King Richard, Power of the Dog. I knew King Richard was going to be getting a lot of attention for awards because it's that kind of movie. Power of the Dog is also that kind of movie. Dune, surprised that it's up here from what I've seen about it. It is a very love it or hate it kind of thing, but not because of where you lean politically. Coda, while an awesome movie, it's still kind of a paint by numbers inspirational story. I have to overcome this to follow my dreams or whatnot. Belfast, still watching it, looks pretty awesome from what I've seen so far. So I think this battle comes down to King Richard or Power of the Dog. And as much as I hate to see it, people are going to want to say, you know what? I look cooler if I pick Power of the Dog. So yeah, I'm going to look cool and pick Power of the Dog. I will give you a no more than 30-second rundown of how well my predictions did next week. Just to let you know what my pick rate was. No, we're not going to be talking about the Golden Globe Awards on next week's episode as who won and whatnot. I'm just going to give my right versus wrongness and move on because we have other things that we got to do next week. You want to kind of throw that out there, Brandon, what we're going to be doing next week? No? Okay. So that was the.
I'm sorry about that. I somehow muted my microphone. I did not realize I did that. Apparently this microphone that I'm using has a mute option on it, and I did not know. So, but yeah, no. Next week I actually have these announcements on the website. But we have the gentleman Matt Borer. He's going to be on our show. I've worked with him. Actually, work closely with him and communicate with him quite a bit. But he, he's an actor, he's a producer, and he's done director of photography work. But he's worked quite a bit with a previous guest of ours, Mr. Brian Wallace. He works and collaborates with him quite frequently. So we're going to actually have him on the show next Friday as our very first special guest of 2022 to discuss his career, what got him into working in film, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So,
Well, while you have the floor, why don't you tell everybody where you can find us, not only on social media these days, but the interwebs.
yeah. Excuse me. Sorry. You can find us on Facebook. Just go to facebook.com/the WADcast. You'll find our page. But you can also find us on Instagram at Instagram. .com/also the WADcast. But more importantly, as I mentioned earlier, while Josh was dealing with the neighbor's dog, on our website, thewadcast.com, we have new content up. As I said earlier, we have reviews and articles talking about the news. We have updates on our social media that you can also see on our website. We have our events. We have past episodes, like our 3 most recent episodes are also found on the site. So if you miss this episode, you will find this episode on the wadcast.com. You can find it there. It'll like pretty much load up on the site. Just hit play and you can hear what we were up to. We also have our recommendations, and we have the About Us to talk about how we met and who we are as people, as well as a section where we talk about our contributors, one of which is DL Hill, more importantly known as Danielle Hill, my partner in crime, my significant other. She has contributed quite a few articles so far, opinion pieces, top tens, stuff like that. But yeah, that's where you can find us. So any updates on our show, you can always find up on that. Check it up. It's going to start getting updated on a daily, if not every other day basis, to keep you in tune of what we're going to be up to in the future. Josh, what about you?
I like the website. I write stuff and it shows up there. It's like magic.
Yep. Has nothing to do with me putting it on there. It just shows up.
Yeah, it just shows up. I don't know how that works. Crazy. But if you want to know about the things that are going on a macro level, so to speak, you can go to, and yes, this is still the thing, SymbiCoreStudios.com. Why? Even though Symbicore Studios has been rebranded? Well, because I haven't gotten the new domain up and running yet. So in the meantime, all of the links and appropriate stuff to click is going to be over at SymbiCoreStudios.com. You can follow me on Twitter at SkidComic. You can follow the larger overall company at Wadco Tweets. Either way, that's going to be a relevant thing. So yeah, Wadco Tweets is what we're known as on Twitter. I will be having a quintessential top 10 list added to our top 10 stuff on the WADcast.com as soon as it's done. There's a few movies that I want to see before I nail anything down as the absolute best movies of 2021. What we did tonight, we definitely gave you a carpet bombing of stuff we enjoyed from the year. And we didn't even get to everything, not even close. Because whether or not you like any one thing or another, it was a good year for entertainment, especially in the film and television industry. There throughout the year was always something to enjoy. It may have been one thing here and another thing there, but I don't think there's really been a point in time during 2021 where there was just nothing going on. There's usually from Disney Plus alone, with the constant releases of something Marvel to the Marvel movies. Although I know some of you would probably more like to forget things like Black Widow, even though I enjoyed it. And I still haven't seen Eternals. I'm a terrible fan.
Yeah, I
But
still haven't seen it either. So
I'll get around to it. Hopefully soon. It'll be on Disney Plus. But that's kind of it. That's kind of the final word of 2021 as a whole, as a year for the WADcast. And hopefully 2022 will be just as exciting, just as filled with new and enjoyable content. And hopefully some of that content will be produced by us. Wouldn't that be great?
oh yeah, absolutely.
And if any of those developments occur, you know where to find out what's going on at thewatcast.com. Any final words before we head out, Mr. Brandon?
Good night. No, that's pretty much it. I'm good.
Well, then I think it's time for me to remember where I put things on here. It's under that one. There we go. Final thoughts. It's 2022. The year's changed, but the message is the same. The only thing standing in the way between you and your dreams is you. What you didn't accomplish in 2021, forget it. No need to dwell. What you absolutely failed at in 2021, leave it in 2021. You can look at life based on the things that you've done, or you can look at life based on the things you want to do. If you look forward, you don't have to slow down. You just keep following your dreams. But it all begins with that first step. And I don't just mean with your feet. Whatever that first step is. Sometimes you got to write a word. Sometimes you have to buy a microphone. Sometimes you just have to hit record on your phone. Either way, take that first step to becoming what you want to be. Make 2022 the year that you do it. All right, so until next week, I'm Josh.
And I'm Brandon.
And this has been the WADcast episode number 72. Catch you guys next week.